The crease. I am so confused, and if I don't pull myself together, I am afraid I will look up and had lost everything. I have been married for 9 years, and for the most part it's been ups and downs. The downs have been pretty low, but the highs are irreplaceable. We have 3 children that we both love so much, but from the start, as far back as I can remember, bonding has always been about pleasing my husband. As a young girl, my needs were pretty simple. He paid the bills, provided, and I would take care of him in the home. We were best friends. We were happiest at that time. We met fairly young, 17 and 18, and I had a boyfriend, but my now husband was so persistent in pursuing a relationship and was the better option as far as my future went, so I left my boyfriend that I was in love with, but he was breaking, and started dating him. My first indiscretion came after 3 years of marriage, when I started feeling lonely. He felt as though he settles down too fast, even though he rushed our relationship, and started hanging out more with his friends and leaving me and the kids at home. We talked about it for a while, but my husband is very stubborn, so after a while I felt helpless and started having a long-distance relationship with an old friend. Soon after, he found out and made me end the correspondences, and we just kind of moved on. No bonding was involved in this occurrence. The second indiscretion came 3 years later. We went through a cold phase, not much talking or communicating. He said he knew he was neglecting me. Around that time, I began to express my unhappiness with bonding and him not taking me out anymore. He explained to me that he was who he was and maybe I needed a boyfriend. So yes, I did. I shouldn't have, but I did. We dated. No bonding, but he would give me gifts, do lunch, and talk on the phone. My husband found out because the guy sent a video of us laughing with the caption, "We don't have to be intimate to have a bond." My husband blew up and was devastated, crying in disbelief. After that, he swore to me that he would be a better husband to me. We began to date weekly and take the kids out weekly. He began to surprise me with big gifts, and I was good to him. 3 years later, he started a new job that required a lot of hours. He would come home exhausted daily, to the point he would tell me he doesn't want to hear my voice. I told him that I'm not happy with our physical life and I think it should be more about the both of us, and it got worse. Bonding went from 15 minutes to 2 minutes. It went from 2 play to no play. He just would not compromise, and I found myself feeling hopeless again. He explained that I'm like an old toy. You love your old toy and you want your old toy with you forever, but you don't always play with your old toy. It won't excite you the same as a new toy. For a while I took the "I'm so tired," but then I found a hotel receipt with his name on and his credit card. He swears he brought the room for a friend, but I looked through his phone and he searched hotels several times. So, when I got fed up, it was easy to say F it. I have tried to explain that I felt rejected, unwanted, and unloved, so I connected with my first love. Yes, the man I left for him 15 years ago. It was easy because we didn't feel like strangers to each other. We both were afraid of being seen in public, so we met at each other's houses. Big mistake. My husband found a deleted video of us sleeping together in both of our homes. My husband decided to stay with me, but it's been an emotional roller coaster for us. Some days he wants to love me and other days he hates me. He admits he wasn't sleeping with me, but he says, "So what, you still shouldn't have had sex with someone else." Especially since he was only tired because he was working. I know I had other options, e.g., church, therapist, even separation, but I didn't want to lose our good times. We have a family and have built so much. I now feel like maybe I should just forget about bonding, accept my marriage on his terms, and be happy with it. The other side of me says, why do I have to give up romance, chemistry, and being desired? We often get into big fighter because he said I should have waited for him not to be tired one day, and I say he turned his back on me emotionally. It's way more to being a husband than money. I am inclined to defend myself. Am I a dirtbag? I really was hurting, and now we both are. Comments. Seems he's had a revenge affair. I'm so sorry you're in that position. What you did to him doesn't make it right to do the same to you. If you've both cheated on each other, I'd say there's really no hope. Your husband knows the pain of being cheated on, and yet he did it to you. If he is willing to hurt you like that, knowing how much that would hurt you, you have every right to leave him. Or, alternatively, you could have a very deep, very frank, and in-depth discussion about consensual non-monogamy. You could stay together and be the other's primary relationship while you both fall in love, sleeping together, on the side with each other's full knowledge and consent. The only caveat there would be that last part. You would need to discuss everything you want to do, everyone you want to be with, every type of relationship you could possibly have. So many things would have to be discussed in thorough detail. Anonymous, good time only, friends with benefits, romantic, love relationship, with the opposite gender, with the same gender, with just one other person or many. Will any or all of the relationships be kinky? Will you go to swinging parties? How will you deal with jealousy? What if one of you loves one of your paramours more than your spouse? It would be imperative to have healthy and non-destructive conversations constantly. So if I were you, I'd get into marriage counseling to learn how to do that long before you consider polyamory. OP responds, I agree, we really can savage what we have with counseling, but he says he doesn't want another person knowing our business. He is very private. And believe we should stay together and let time play out. I believe that I am codependent, and I have been going to counseling by myself now to try to figure out how can I love someone so much but oftentimes not like him. No one is perfect. Oftentimes people like to say what they would never do, but when put in the situation emotions are involved, it's not so black and white. I have spoken to him in past about this and he swiftly dismissed that idea. He for one wants even to admit the hotel rooms was for him. Secondly, says I should not have ever felt rejected because he was tired and I am needed and may possibly need to grow up. He doesn't accept that this is a 50-50 fail. He feels after 15 years of being together we should accept each other's faults and deal with them. If it was a problem, it should have been addressed a long time ago. But I feel we are forever evolving, and despite the length of the relationship, you two have to work together. I am seeking counseling because I admit his dismissal of my needs make me so angry, especially when he talks so cocky to me. It makes me want to hurt his feelings. But in the end, we are both hurt. I agree that he was neglecting me physically and emotionally, and I know seeking someone else is not the answer. At the time, I always feel like if I can supplement my needs, then me and H can still get to forever. I know oftentimes as a defense mechanism he talks mean because he may not be happy with performance as well. Would also think he lazy and a selfish lover. This all mad me so anger at him at times. I am now getting counseling because I don't want to hurt anyone else like this again. He won't consider separation because of our kids. They are very vocal about divorce and living under the same roof. I have stopped the affair and must admit with my husband being so cold and mean it has increased my feelings of being lonely and unhappy again. I told myself I will remove the other party, seek I see and see how I feel after that. It's really hard because neither want a divorce. I have now put myself in a position where I'm financially successful. But I sometimes feel like that contributed to the problem. When my needs were more basic like money, food and bills, I felt he was the perfect husband, but now that my needs have changed, I feel like everything has changed. He upgraded my ring recently by surprise and actually later asked me why that didn't keep me faithful. I want to go on record saying cheating is wrong, but I hate if you explain yourself it's justifying your behavior. Or if you point out anything the BS did to you leading up to the affair, you are wrong. You just have to be sorry or you are a jerk. I believe my response to his neglect was wrong, but you can't shut down talking and bonding and expect your spouse to just adjust until you come back around. You can't shut people out and later say I would have eventually come around. I don't blame him for my actions, but it's driving me crazy that he won't acknowledge how he hurt me. We are still together. He wants to stay off the kids. As time goes on, he loves to make mean comments or remind me of my indiscretion every day. Like, I can't believe you sleep with another man. Let's watch a movie together, or if a promiscuous character in movie, she's just like you. He says we can't ever be happy again and he never wants to forgive me. I know cheating isn't a healthy response. I know it adds to the pain, but if I don't explain what led to that, both our behaviors, how can we reconcile? He wants to so we have to treat each other better. But it seems if you are the WS, you can't discuss any wrong or mistreatment that the BS might have did to you. Like it's all washed away because I did the unthinkable. I am sorry and very apologetic, but that's only the beginning of the conversation. And we are very much codependent on one another. Everything we have we worked as a team to get. We met 2 months out of high school and have been building ever since. It's hard to let that go. He is also big on appearances. He doesn't admit, but I'm sure that has something to do with it. And his parents have been married for 30+ years and his GM has been married for a lifetime. My 50 has discussed with me codependency and I'm working on it, but I don't want to leave him. I want him to leave me. I want us both to improve and be better. Each day I'm learning how much I hurt him and how much I meant to him. I really wish I can get him back to MC. My comment, I feel this is just delaying the divorce. I think it's hard for a guy to accept his wife having an affair, and the topic will keep reoccurring as the relationship develops. Story 2. I need some advice. I am 30 and my wife is 31. We have been married for 9 years and have known each other for 10 to 11. Our marriage has not been the best. I have a computer game addiction and have let it control my life. It first started in the first year of marriage. I guess I was not ready to grow up and started playing MMO. I was in my last semester of college when I started. After graduating, I took the summer off and got a job at local store. She was working a full-time job bringing in most of the money, and I was staying home all day playing games and working a crappy job. She finally kicked me out of the house and said I needed to get a real job. So I did and stopped the games. Well, that lasted about a year, then I was right back to gaming. We had our first child 3 years into marriage. I would stay up all night and not help with the baby to play games. This went on a year, then she told me to stop. So I did, but not really, just hid the fact that I still played. I had become repressed, resentful, lazy, agitated, and was not really that great of a father or husband. We ended up moving into a new house, and that is when the mother-in-law moved in after her stroke and divorce. She has been living with us for that last 6 years. I would stop and start playing every now and then, but never really gave it up or admitted I had a problem. Since then, we have had 2 more kids. Last year my wife started seeing a person at our church because she was fed up with me and that I would not change. He convinced her to go to counseling, and we did. I was hurt, angry, and still in denial about my problems, so I did not fully participate in the counseling. I told them what they wanted to hear but never really intended to quit long term. So, 2 months later I asked to start playing as a hobby. I also had just got my iPhone and was on that thing the mass majority of the time I was not online playing. I was always there to help with the kids, housework, money, gave her everything she wanted, vacations, car, but was not there emotionally 100% of the time, more like 30%. It was not all bad, we had some good times, we laughed together, cried together, but there were a lot of bad times too. 4 weeks ago, she said she was done being married to me and wanted me to move out. She was so mad. She had been holding back for so long and all those emotions exploded out of her and was completely shut off and cold to me. I convinced her to let me stay and she agreed. The next week was a living hell. I tried to be lovey-dovey and be there for her emotionally, but I was met with a blank stare and no emotions. She finally said we needed time apart. Needless to say, I didn't take it very well. I cried and begged and pleaded. She said she loved me but did not like me, but that this was not permanent, that if I showed change, she would take me back, but it would take some time, like 4 to 6 months. She stopped wearing her ring, stopped telling me she loved me, and for the next week did not want to talk to me. I kept pushing and pushing, which I know now was wrong. So, I backed off. Thursday of last week she got a lawyer and asked to get legally separated so we both could be protected in case one of us went crazy. I was blown away but at the same time okay. I had started my addiction therapy and was in a good place. We had dinner while we went over the finances and child support. She would touch my hand and stand right up against me. There was no tension and we were in agreement. Said it was my first time back in the house. I was there by myself for 7 hours with the kids while her and her mom ran errands. I was so hurt when I saw almost all pictures with me were gone. They came back and I said, wow, you sure did some redecorating. She laughed and said 2 of her friends took everything down when she was upset one day. We had a talk and she said she was not mad at me anymore. I straight up asked if she wanted a divorce and that I would not fight her. She said no, that is not what she wanted right now and that she wants us to work out, but right now is too early and she still does not believe I am changing. I am getting an apartment this week and called her yesterday to make sure she wanted to go through with this and if she would be willing to let me live in the guest bedroom for 1 week to see if we can work it out. She said it was not a good idea and got aggravated. Said she does not trust me and I would have to earn her trust. She is not willing to get counseling now until I get my addiction fixed. I am afraid that since she has her mother with her to help with the kids, she will see she does not need me and this time apart will make things worse, but she will not budge on the situation. She won't even consider just dating right now. My thing is, if she loves me, not mad at me anymore, and wants to work this out, then why won't she even consider dating or letting me stay in the house for a few days to see if we can get along? I am going through therapy fixing myself, but she is not willing to help herself or work with me on these issues. How do I prove I have changed and earn her trust if she won't let me be around her for long periods of time? I know it's only been a few weeks, but I am lost. I am 100% she is not cheating or having a relationship with someone else. All coworkers are women and 3 kids take up all her time, so she does not go out and we were always together. I don't think it as easy as she has done with me. I think she has a lot of outside opinions that are influencing her. The fact that her friends went ahead and took all pictures down tells me they think she should leave. I trust her 100%. She has never given me any reason not to. When we discussed finances, she made it as fair as possible, and honestly it was a better deal in my favor. I have talked to people she has talked to, aunts, grandmas, friends, and she is telling them she wants to work things out. I am just trying to figure out how I get back the trust if she is not willing to let me back and since she is afraid of being hurt again. Actually, I have started seeing an addiction therapist last week. I have also left my computer at the house and deleted all games off of it. Even deleted my characters. My iPhone has been cleansed of all games. I had a friend of mine change my iTunes password so I cannot buy them. I also have restricted the Safari web search on my iPhone and had a password put on it so I cannot get in it. When I get my apartment there will be no internet connections. I have taken steps, but I need her to trust me that I am changing, but right now she still does not trust me. Says until she sees real change then she will take me back. I guess actions speak louder than words. I was with her all the time, just not there emotionally. She never stayed out late, always home on time, absolutely does not believe in cheating and gets rid of friends who cheat on their BF or spouses. As for the mom, she takes care of the kids all day and my wife feel guilty making her do it at night too. It is not I don't want to believe it, it is I know with 100% certainty she is not cheating. I guess today is a big day. Finally got my wife to go see my addiction therapist, who is also a marriage counselor. She is going in there with the idea that this will be about getting her side of the story, but my therapist also mentioned she was going to recommend marriage counseling and what she thinks we should do if she truly wants this to work out in the end. Crosses fingers. Update. I have signed a 6-month lease in an apartment yesterday. I kind of screwed up Monday by going see my wife's sick grandma. Her aunt was there and we got to talking about everything going on. It went on for 1 hour and I had to get back to work. They called her that night and told her she needs to take me back, that I am completely different and she should give it a chance. Needless to say, this pissed her off because she thought I was trying to turn her family against her. I called yesterday and explained everything to her, that I love her family as much as my own. Just because we are separated does not mean that I can just cut people who have been a part of me for 9 years completely out my life. I told her I never asked for them to call and try and convince her to take me back. I just owned up to everything I did and asked for their advice. She ended up understanding, but she was still upset and said give her a few days and she will get over it. At this point I just have to trust she is being truthful and just focus on myself. Everyone I have talked to says she wants to work this out. She says she wants to work this out. So basically, I need to just give it a rest. It is only pissing her off the more I try and tell her I am changing. I have also gotten a second job in the afternoon to occupy my time to get me away from everything. My addiction therapist is awesome and talking to her makes me see everything so clearly and honestly. I have done a complete personality change since I started going to her. I am more open to people, laughing more, have a positive outlook on life, and I am so desperate to share my experiences and what I am feeling and going through. I find myself talking to complete strangers and telling them all what is going on in life and getting their advice. I have been holding back for so long it is kind of liberating. Don't get me wrong, I find myself from time to time feeling so empty and lonely. I miss my wife, children, dog, home, but I just keep telling myself that all that will fall into place in time. Getting over my video gaming addiction and fixing my relationship with my 6-year-old. I am kind of excited about moving into this apartment. I will have to finally grow up. I have been living like a child for 30 years now and this will force me to learn to fend for myself. So, Sunday I had a weak moment. After dropping off the kids and my daughter going ballistic because she wanted to stay with me, I went to church and after listening to what the priest was saying I decided to call the wife and set up a lunch date Tuesday to discuss questions I have been having. I talked it over with my therapist and other people and decided that the lunch talk was a bad idea. Nothing I could say would make a difference right now and she reminded me that I am an addict. I just substituting my gaming addiction with a different addiction and that was getting back with my wife. I was not listening to her feeling and wants, which were to have time to herself, and instead being selfish and trying to force myself back into the relationship. I called Monday and canceled, told her I was being a selfish ass and she wants time so I will give it to her. Since then, 180 all the way. No calls, text, emails, only talking about kids when we have to talk. Never initiating conversations, being short and to the point. I get an email from her about this Friday and the kids. Basically, she will be at relatives and won't be by to pick them up till 9 p.m. I said that was fine and nothing else. She then sent another email asking about what I had planned. Responded feed them, play with them, bath them, get them to sleep. Received no response. That night I do what I always do and that was to call to tell kids goodnight. After my conversation with my oldest she went to hand the phone to my wife. I hung up. 5 minutes later I get a call from her once again about this Friday. She then went into if I needed anything for the apartment. I told her not just need a bag with clothes, shampoo for the kids. She then verified if I needed anything else for the apparent. Once again, I said I am good. Then instead of hanging up she asked about the second job I was getting and when I was going to start. I could tell in her voice she was trying to extend the conversation, but once again I was short and said 1 to 2 weeks I would start. Then told her let me let you go and she said okay, talk to you later. She never calls about anything, whether I needed something or about anything else for that matter, much less about my second job. I know it has only been 3 to 4 days of the 180 but I am seeing signs already. While I have good days and bad days. Sometimes she gives me the impression she wants us to work out in the end, but other days it's like she does not want anything to do with me. She has filed for divorce, but in the state of Louisiana that is equivalent to a legal separation. After the 365 days if she wants a divorce, she can file for it. If not, we can either end the separation or extend it. Till this day she has never referred to it as a divorce. She would do things that just don't make sense if you wanted to get a divorce. We agreed to split the furniture, but when I went to move my stuff out, she wanted to keep the dresser that I used for my cloths because, and I quote, I don't want you to move it because it might get scratched up. Why would it matter if it got scratched up if it was going to be mine? She never used it before and as of right now is the place where she puts blankets. But on the other hand, she does not wear her ring, no more pictures on the wall of me. I think she is confused as to what she wants and is planning for the worst by not letting me back in right now because she needs to know if she can make it on her own. Also, letting me back into her life in her eyes too soon could end up hurting her again and the kids. Even though she does not want to believe it, I am no longer the shell of a man I once was. I have a positive outlook on life now. I enjoy letting my feeling out where before I was repressed and lonely. I spend every moment I can with the kids playing instead of letting them do their thing and me watch because I realize what I have been missing out on. As for marriage counseling, she is not open for that right now. She wants me to focus on my addiction and her focus on being alone and see if she can be independent. This is kind of weird because her mom lives with her, so she really is not independent. She is waiting for real change, something that does not happen in 5 to 6 weeks, before she will make a decision on dating and marriage counseling. I am not naive by any stretch of the imagination. I fully understand her actions are point towards divorce. I am not one of those hoping upon hope but knowing there is no chance. What I do know is that she is telling everyone around her, not just me, that she wants time apart to get herself together and hopefully work things out. Trust me, if you saw the person she was 4 to 5 weeks ago, you would have thought she hated my guts, but still, then she said it was not permanent if I can prove that I can change. This was also the time she stopped wearing the ring and took the pictures down, which at that time she could not stand the sight of me. She talks about reconciling, but if you knew the person I was and the secrets I hid, you would understand her not wanting to make definite plans because she does not trust me. I am getting better for me, not her, because I know that there is a slim chance we can reconcile, but I also cannot give up hope because I still think deep down she loves me, and with time will realize that she truly does miss me. So, I am feeling so low right now. Have not felt this way since she told me she wanted to separate. Yesterday got a call from my wife as I was about to leave work. She was asking me if I got the separation papers, divorce papers, in my email. I read this and my heart dropped into my stomach. Even though I know it is all legal terms, it still hurt so bad to see it on paper. I called her back and she asked what I thought. I told her it was everything we discussed, but I did say that there was a certain section that was difficult to read. She knew I had read that section and wanted to see how I was taking it. Her response was it had caught her off guard and she felt the same way. I told her that I would not fight her on anything regarding the kids, and if she wanted a divorce, then so be it. I said there are no words that I could say that would take the past back, but that I am so sorry, and there is not a day goes by that I am not filled with anger at myself and guilt over how I treated everyone. She said it is hard on her too. She started crying and said she is filled with so much pain, distrust of me, and hurt. She told me that it is so hard with me not being around, and when I have the kids, she spends every waking moment trying to do house choirs and grocery shopping. Stuff she could do when I was there because I would watch the 2 oldest and she would take the 1-year-old. I said hearing her say that makes me feel so much like a failure. As for getting a divorce, she said that right now she cannot see us ever getting back together because all she has been through and the feelings she has towards me right now are bad. We discussed the future and how she hopes that in the near future she hopes she feels more comfortable around me and would start allowing me to come to family events and come over more often to see the kids. She also said she would not ever try and keep the kids from me, that if I wanted to pick them up on any random day just to call. I don't know how to take this other than right now she is wanting a divorce but still has yet to actually come out and say yes, I want a divorce. It's always, well, right now I can't see us getting back together, but who knows what will happen. So today was great. Last night I had the kids till 10 and wife came by to pick them up. They were all sleeping. She decided to just take the youngest and, on her way out, asked if I had anything to feed them for breakfast. Stove was still broken, so she asked if I wanted to get breakfast tomorrow with her. I said that would be okay with me. I woke up and called to see if she was ready. She was still sleeping but said give her 10 minutes and she would be ready. We went to eat, just her and the kids. I listened to her and let her talk instead of butting in. Was attentive to her feelings about the hurricane instead of minimizing her. She asked what my plans were if the storm came to us. I said I would probably evacuate. She responded, well, if you are, do you want to come with us and we get a hotel together? I said sure, if you are okay with that. She said it would make more sense than each of us getting separate hotels and spending more money. Maybe I am reading too much into this, but to me this is a huge step in the right direction. I have never wanted a storm to hit so bad. She had a tough time with the little one last night and she admitted it is hard with me not around. I am going to play it cool and not push, let her make the contact and ask me if I would be willing to do things with her instead of me doing the asking. And I used to think roller coasters were fun. So evidently I pissed her off but didn't do anything to piss her off. Funny how that works. So Sat morning was great. Afternoon not so much. She went to her granny's party and on the way home called me to see if I wanted to take daughter swimming. Of course, I said yes because I missed them and wanted to play. I get there and automatically know she is pissed. Very short on words and very standoffish. Pick them up and we go swimming at my apartment. It gets late so I bring them home. I get there and she is coming back from running. Said she had to run to distress due to the party. My take was she was getting hassled by her family about us separating because if they were saying she was doing the right thing by leaving me, she would have not been in a horrible mood. So, since I am an easy target, I get the brunt of her anger. She never said anything mean to me, but her body language and tone was very evident that she didn't want me around. I should have left, but my daughter begged for me to stay and eat. I did. Very awkward dinner and I ended up leaving after. Next day I send a text to see if I could pick the kids up so she can prepare for the storm and do choirs. 1 hour later she replays have a play date. So, I said okay. I call later about the evacuation plans since we were going together. Well, she had a change of plans and is going with someone else. And basically, said sorry but you are on your own. The person she said she was going with does not evacuate. I asked if she was mad at me. She said no, that she was stressed. Calls me later about what my plans were and I just said I will figure something out, don't worry about me. This crap is getting old, but I am keeping my cool because I think she is conflicted and her mind changes by the hour. Finally convince myself to try and move on, but at the same time work on me in hopes that she see change and lets me back into her life. There is no tension between us anymore. When we talk it is like I am talking to my wife again. We don't discuss major stuff, just small talk, mostly about the kids, weather, etc. So yesterday I worked up the courage to print out the divorce papers, or as she puts it, legal separation, and sign them. Called her up and said I was dropping them off. I could tell she was a little taken back by it, but said just let me know when you get here and I will come out. Gave her the papers and spoke. You know, I really do hope we can work this out, but you may be right, it might be too late to fix this. I was a horrible person to you and the kids, and I could not imagine how you were able to put up with me for 9 years. You are stronger than me, I don't think I could have done it. I told her as long as she was giving me a good time that I was okay, but when she would refuse it started arguments. That it got so bad she would just do it so she would not have to listen to the arguments. Needless to say, her response was not what I expected. She defended me, said I was not a terrible husband or person, that the marriage was not all bad, and she did not start thinking about divorce till a year ago. She said she does love me and cares a great deal about me, and regardless of what happens, she wants both of us to be happy. We are still young and can find someone else if need be. She says that it's not a matter of not wanting me, that it is not like that. She said she has no regrets marrying me. She said if we don't make it, she wants us to be friends. I told her I don't know if that is possible, but only time will tell. She also said she does not love me romantically and doesn't know if she ever will be able to. I said, well, your actions say different than your words. I told her that you say that you hope things work out, but you do not wear her ring, and took all my pictures down. She said I didn't take them all down, just the ones in the room, and she left the wedding picture frame of us up by the front door. I also told her that yes, we may find someone else, but that 50% of all marriage end in divorce, 60% of all second marriages end in divorce, and 75% of third marriage end in divorce, so there is a good chance we will find someone and divorce them, causing our kids to go through this all over again. I also told her all marriages go through times when spouses are not in love with one another. Correct me if I am wrong, but don't all marriages go through times when we are in love then not in love? That is normal and is not a reason to get a divorce over. I know my situation is different than the average person, but if she was able to fall in love with me before, stay with me 9 years, have 3 kids together, then I think I can make her fall back in love with me. This separation is so mentally draining. So, I called and scheduled one session with a Divorce Busters coach for this Saturday. If I like her and things go well, I plan on paying for the 6-session package. My comment listens to what she is telling you, for heaven's sakes. Move out, give her some space, grow up, man. This is an important lesson for people out there. If you don't grow up, your partner will grow and leave without you.